How can you investigate SQL Server on the cloud? Hello, I'm Philip Burton of idodata.com. So there are many reasons why you might want to have SQL Server on the cloud. Firstly, it doesn't sit on your system, so you are not the one who has to maintain it. So it can be on the cloud and Microsoft maintains it. Microsoft does the backups. Microsoft does the upgrades. But what do you use? Well, you could have a simple Azure SQL database, which starts from a really small basis, around $5 per month, all the way up to huge. Whereas with Azure SQL database, you don't get to actually manage the instance because Microsoft does. With the managed instance, you do, and you are able to create as many databases as you want for the space that you have. Or you could have an Azure virtual machine and then put SQL Server onto it. But how can you learn the ins and outs of each? Well, first of all, you could try it for yourself. There is generally an Azure free trial with around $200 of credits that you can use within the first 30 days of sign up, and also 12 months of select free services. And the free services include 12 months of a particular type of SQL database, so it needn't cost you a penny. If you want to investigate that, then you can just sign up and then go to portal.azure.com, type in at the top what you want, so SQL databases, and click Create and work through this dialog box. And if you want to see an example of how you can do that, why not have a look at my YouTube video on the subject? There'll be a link at the top of the video right now. Now, it's all very well experimenting with what you can do, but what about if you want to have a more formal learning? Well, you could have a look at the Microsoft exams on Azure. Now, the general exam is the AZ-900 Microsoft Azure, and it used to have a bit of databases. However, in the update of May 2022, various things were removed, including everything to do with databases. So in the current version, they are simply not there. So I wouldn't recommend the AZ-900 exam. However, I probably wouldn't recommend it anyway if you are experienced with SQL Server, because this is at a very high level. The DP900 is still at a high level, but it's at a high level for databases. So if we have a look at the learning objectives, you can see that they include features of structured, semi-structured and unstructured data, the SQL family of products including Azure SQL Database, the managed instance and Azure virtual machines, and a lot more. So going down this path gives you a nice introduction, not just to the relational data, which is the SQL Server versions, but also non-relational data like Azure Cosmos DB, and then modern data warehousing. So if you want something that's relatively quick, then going down something that uses this sort of framework could be of use. And then by the end, you will be familiar with relational and non-relational data and transactional and analytical data workloads. However, if you want something much more in depth for SQL Server, then you might want to have a look at the DP300, Administering Relational Databases on Microsoft Azure. So it says you need to know everything from the DP900 exam, and indeed it would be helpful, but I don't actually think it's essential for this particular exam. If we'll have a look at the exam skills outline, we can see that it goes into a lot more detail. So planning and implementing data platform resources, including migration and upgrades, implement a secure environment, monitor and optimize operational resources, optimize query performance, perform automation of tasks, and plan and implement a high availability and disaster recovery or HADR environment. There's also a bit about performing administration by using TSQL. So you may be looking at these two, the DP300 and the DP900, and going, great, how can I learn what's there? And if you scroll down, there is a Microsoft Learning path. So you can click on any of these, such as Explore Relational Data in Azure, and have a look at the various modules at the various web pages that you could be looking at, so Azure SQL services and capabilities. And there is a similar learning path for the DP 300. Obviously, it's a lot more extensive. The 900 are fundamental exams. Everything else is at a much higher level. You notice that these are marked as intermediate for the most part, whereas for the DP 900, they are marked as beginner level. Alternatively, you could have a look at a course that could help you through those. Mine, for instance, take you through all of the requirements of the respective exam. So the DP 900 has over 7 hours of on-demand video. And you can see if I go down to, for instance, other Azure relational databases, we have a look at PostgreSQL, MySQL, MariaDB, as well as looking at all of the Azure SQL offerings. For the DP 300, then we also have a look at optimizing query performance, evaluating performance improvements, planning and implementing. We start off with looking at the Azure SQL database, and then later on we go back to virtual machines and managed instances and see what additional we can learn with those two. Now, if you'd like more information about either of my courses, then there is a link in the description to this video with these two courses. So however you choose to do it, whether you're looking at, for instance, a learning path from Microsoft or some video courses, I hope you will have a look at the exam skills outline. And so you can see, this is what Microsoft thinks I need to know about SQL on the cloud. So the exams that you might want to look at are the DP 900 and the DP 300. Thank you for joining me in this video. If you like it, then please click the like button. And why not subscribe and click the bell next to it so you'll be notified of any new videos. Thank you for watching this and keep learning.